it's me, Adrienne. I'm just gonna assume that this looks good on screen because I'm in a hotel room right now and it was really hard to set up this camera. So, okay, just kidding, I moved the camera, but that's okay. Hey guys, it's Adrienne, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I didn't post last week. I've been in Thailand. I am still in Thailand right now. I'm actually leaving in a couple hours for the airport. Oh, it's gonna be a long travel day, but the Wi-Fi was doesn't matter, I'm uploading now. In today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I've been editing my Instagram photos lately. I know I've made a couple videos like this in the past, but my style is constantly evolving and changing, and part of that is just me trying to figure out who I am, what my brand is on Instagram, what I'm trying to put out there. My YouTube content versus my Instagram content, it's a little bit different. So I'm constantly trying to find new ways to edit photos. I love editing photos. It's become almost like a therapeutic pastime for me. I love learning new tips and tricks and things that other photographers do when they edit their photos. So I've been watching a lot of Lightroom tutorials and things like that. So I'm actually gonna show you guys two different ways that I've been editing my photos lately. One is using Adobe Lightroom, which does cost money, unfortunately, but it's slightly a more advanced program for people who wanna go just beyond the basics of photo editing and really wanna get into very specific customizable photo editing. So lately I've been super into using Lightroom, but I don't always use Lightroom. Sometimes I just use my iPhone and certain apps that I have on there that are free. So I'm also gonna be showing you guys how I edit photos on my iPhone. So if you guys don't have Lightroom or you're not interested in learning what I do on Lightroom to achieve the looks that I'm trying to achieve, then you guys can go ahead and skip to this timestamp right here and you will go right to the iPhone Instagram editing tutorial. But for those of you that want to watch both, I really do like Lightroom because even though it costs money, you're able to do a lot more things than just the basic editing functions, and that's, I think, where artists really find their style and figure out who they are as an artist. So if you guys want to see all the photos that I've been posting lately on my Instagram, you can go ahead and follow me. It's at Adrienne Finch, and I've also been posting a lot on Instagram stories. I really like Instagram stories lately. I don't know why, but there's a bunch of things you can do on there that I didn't know before. And I actually posted a video all about life hacks and tips and tricks for Instagram stories, so I will link that down below if you want to check it out. Either way, I love stalking you guys on Instagram, so go ahead and follow, comment, do whatever, and I stalk you guys all the time. Last but not least, you guys, before we get into this video, please leave me a comment down below suggesting what type of videos you guys want to see, and also read everyone else's comments and give thumbs up to the ones that you like the best. That way I'll know which ideas you guys really want to see, and I'll make them for you because I'm always in need of new ideas. It's a new year, it's a new me, it's a new you. Let's make some bomb content this year, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right, without further ado, I'm gonna show you how I've been editing my photos recently. That's the longest title in the world, but let's go.
Okay guys, so here we are on Lightroom. So as you can see right here, on the left is the photo that I'm gonna be working with, and on the right is the after. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how to achieve a look similar to this, and the final photo actually had some birds in it, which I will show you right here. This is the final photo. And I actually achieved this look of the birds through Photoshop, so I'll show you guys how to do that as well. I totally copied a bunch of other travel vloggers in what they do, but it's pretty cool. So the first thing that I always do is go over to this crop tool, and I love to make sure that it is already on the Instagram crop. So what I do is I go over to enter custom right here, type in 5:4 because that is actually the Instagram dimensions, and I go ahead and crop it like so. So something that I used to just do is go right into the basic settings right here. Here you can adjust exposure, you can adjust contrast, and that is all great, but I just learned a new trick actually for how to do this kind of in a better way. So instead of going to basic, I'm gonna go to tone curve. You make sure the channel is on RGB, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put little points right here. And then basically what I'm gonna do here is make this into a nice S curve. So here I'm gonna pull down some of the darker shades. I'm gonna pull up some of the highlights right here. And then these bottom ones are just adding fade. So I'm gonna add some fade into the highlights, or sorry, the shadows, and some fade, and some fade into the highlights. And if you want it to be even more drastic, you can kind of make these wider, but as you can see right here, that was just achieved in the click of a couple buttons rather than adjusting everything manually. So I think this looks pretty good. So after the tone curve, I like to go into the coloring. The colors in this photo are actually pretty good already, but sometimes I like to change the blues to more teal colors that kind of achieves that teal and orange look that a lot of Instagrammers like to do that I really like. So you can either do that by clicking on the colors right here and kind of dragging this wheel back. You can make them really extreme. Obviously, I don't want to make it unrealistic, but you can add saturation, you can make them lighter, whatever you want to do there. I'm going to show you right now the way that I like to change the colorings. So I like to go all the way down to camera calibration, and then basically here it shows all of the primary colors. If you go down to the blue primary and drag the hue down to the teal color, it will actually kind of give you that teal and orange look already. Now you need to be really careful of the skin tones in this. I'm far away, so it's a little bit okay. You can drag the red a little bit more up. And as you can see, it didn't fully achieve that look, so I actually am gonna go back to the blue color and just make the blue a little more teal, like so. So honestly, this picture already looks pretty good. There really wasn't a whole lot I had to do to the coloring, but as you can see from the before and after, it already makes a huge difference, just changing the tone curve and changing the coloring. So the last thing that I'm going to do is just add this radial filter. So what this does is you can basically highlight a specific area and change basically whatever you want about it. So I like to make sure that the subject is sharper than the background. So you can do this two ways. One is you put the filter around what you want to be sharp, go to the clarity tool and make it less clear around the subject. And as you can see, it kind of adds this hazy effect. I don't love how hazy that looks. So you can also do the opposite and go to the sharpness, but then click invert mask so that it's making you sharp rather than the outside. So I think that actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna click done. So now I'm standing out at least a little bit more than I was before. And then after that, I'm gonna show you one more thing you can do, even though I don't normally do it, it just depends on the photo. You can take a gradient filter like so. You basically just move it where you want it. And another way to get your subject to really stand out is to do like an exposure gradient filter. So as you can see, you can make it a lot darker where this is. So basically this just determines like where it starts feathering up and becoming really dark. Obviously that's a little too dark, but if you make it a little bit darker on the bottom, it really highlights this center area. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I think that actually looks really cool. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little bit less because it's kind of extreme. And then there you have it. So then I just export it, and I like to keep my pictures very organized. But I'm gonna show you guys really quick how to put those birds in. Here is the picture, and then you're gonna go ahead and drag it into Photoshop. I'm also realizing this photo is a little bit dark, so maybe I would actually increase the exposure a tiny bit. So once this photo is in Photoshop, all you need to do is basically insert any PNG of birds. So I found this nice little transparent image of birds. You're just gonna put it right onto the picture wherever you want it, however big you want it. And obviously I suggest to make it a little bit more realistic, you would take out some of the birds. And then to kind of make it even more realistic, you are then going to go over to filter blur, and then I'm going to put Gaussian blur. That makes it super, super blurry. And then you can basically control like the amount of blur there is. This is 0, this is like freaking blurry, you can't even see the birds. So I just feel like making them a little bit blurry kind of makes it look like they're in the background a ways. And that's all you really do to achieve that look. A lot of people do this. I suggest not overdoing this, but I do think it looks really cool. And as you can see, I posted this image onto my Instagram page, and I think it looks pretty good.
So that was how I've been editing on Lightroom lately. I hope you guys liked that part. If you guys are also interested in how I've been editing on iPhone, then just keep watching this video right now. And here's how I try to achieve a very similar look using my iPhone.
All right, you guys, so next I'm gonna show you guys how I edit my photos on my iPhone. I'm not gonna lie, this changes every time depending on the photo itself, but either way, the main app that I use is VSCO Cam and Facetune 2. So for VSCO Cam, I'm gonna go ahead and work with this photo right here. So luckily, this photo was taken on portrait mode with my boyfriend's camera. So already there doesn't need to be much correction. I just definitely wanna change the colors a little bit and just tweak a couple extra things. So the first thing I always like to do is figure out which filter I'm gonna use. So sometimes I like to use the same filter on all my photos on my entire feed to make sure they all look similar. But lately I've been realizing that different photos look better with different filters. So as long as they all have similar looks, I figure that my feed will look good. So I really like this E3 filter for this one. It just really brings out the softness in the greens. And this is a little bit too harsh. I don't want it to be super orange, so I'm using E3. Then I go over to the basic functions. I don't need to make this any more bright. Contrast, I always like to add a little bit of contrast, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I love to straighten it if I need to, but I don't need to here. I'm actually going to sharpen it. I sharpen almost all my photos. I don't wanna over sharpen them, but just a little bit. Saturation, I don't need in this photo at all because the filter basically takes care of it. But one thing I'm noticing is that the highlights are a little bit blown out. So something I'm gonna do is raise this highlights bar, which actually makes the highlights a little bit less intense. So I'm gonna raise it to about there. And then the shadows I can also bring up a little bit to kind of even it out. Then something I like to do, but I'm not gonna do here, is add grain. Sometimes this can add a really cool kind of cinematic effect to photos. It almost makes them look like they were taken with a Polaroid or something like that. But here, I actually like how soft and crisp the photo is. So that is actually all I'm gonna do here. And I think that the photo looks pretty good. Apparently you guys agree too, because I posted it on my Instagram and you guys seem to like it.
All right, well, that is what I've been doing lately. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm still trying to find my style and my voice through photo editing, so it's not something that'll happen overnight. My style has evolved so much over the years, and you know, I'm not always gonna confine myself to one style. Sometimes I just completely break that and post something completely different. Maybe that's why I don't grow very fast on Instagram. I don't know. But either way, as an artist, it's just super fun to experiment with different styles and be creative. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more stuff like this, and remember to leave me suggestions because it's so helpful when I am planning my upcoming content. Also, I'm moving. I'm like about to move in with Janine Amapola and Morgan Yates. I'm gonna be vlogging a ton of moving vlogs, so follow my vlog channel, and I am just excited for the journey, and I'm excited that you're coming with me. So, that's all. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Time to pack.